Right. So, okay. All right. So we're looking at our ESRT page 11 classwork. I'm going to start with number one. An earthquake's epicenter is located 8,800 kilometers away from you. How long after the earthquake's P wave will the S wave arrive? All right. So we're talking about once we find the time for the P wave, how long after will the S wave arrive? Okay. So for a question like this, we're going to look at page 11 of the reference tables. There's notice here. All right. So some things really quickly to keep in mind for the travel time. I see 12 dash dash 13 or 1 dash dash 2, and the units are in minutes. So that means each line is going up by 20 seconds. Each line goes up by 20 seconds. Now, when I see here, when I see 1, I see that it's 1 times 10 to the 3. 1 times 10 to the 3 is the same as 1,000. So this is not 2, this is 2,000 kilometers. And I see 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to 2. So that means each line must be going up by 0.2, and 0.2 times 10 to the 3 is the same as 200. All right. So each line on the X goes up by 200 kilometers. And we just have to remember that each whole number is actually multiplied by 1,000. All right. So that's something to keep in mind. With that being said, when I look at 1, they said that my distance was 8,800 kilometers away, right? So therefore, 8,000 is here, right? So I'm going to go and I'll zoom in here so that way we can see. This is 8,000 and each line goes up by 200. So therefore, let me put a light. Here we go. It's going to go 200, 400, 600, 800. So 8,800 is here. So I'm going to go up this line. All right. I'm going to keep going, keep going. And I see that for my P wave, right? And I'll zoom up a little bit. The travel time for my P wave ends up being, when I look, 12 minutes. So keep that in mind. It was 12 minutes for my P wave to travel 8,800 kilometers away. I follow the same line, and you'll notice that my travel time for my S wave ends right here. And when I look to the left, I see 22 minutes. So P wave comes at 12 minutes after the earthquake. S wave comes at 22 minutes. How long after does the S wave occur after the P wave? 22 minus 12, and I get 10 minutes. So therefore, my answer for number 1 is going to be 10 minutes. All right, number 2. It says the earthquake occurs at 6:05 and 20. And if the P wave arrives at 6:06 and 40, how far away is the earthquake's epicenter? So we learned in class that when an earthquake occurs, and I'll just use scrap paper. We learned in class when an earthquake occurs. Sorry, let me get a blank one. There we go. Perfect. When an earthquake occurs, right? So if my earthquake occurs here, right? This is the epicenter. We know that there are 2 waves that go out, a P wave and then an S wave goes out once an earthquake occurs. All right, keep that in mind. The P wave comes first at a location, and then the S wave comes out after. All right, so keep that in mind. Earthquake occurs, P wave gets sent out, then the S wave. With that, keep in mind, So I first need to find out how long did it take for the P wave to travel, right? So if the earthquake happened at 6:05 and 20 and the P wave arrived at 6:06 and 40, I'm going to subtract. I'm going to subtract, right? 6:06 and 40 minus 6:05 and 20. And when I do that, I get 2, 0, 1, 0, 0. It ends up being 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's the travel time for the P wave, 1 minute and 20 seconds. So I'm going to go to my reference tables, right? Remember that this line is the P wave. And I'm going to go to 1 minute and 20 seconds, which is right here. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line just until I get to the P wave. And then I go down. Now, what did we learn earlier? Each line goes up by 0.2 multiplied by 10 to the 3, right? So it would be 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. And 0.6 times 10 to the third is going to give me 600 kilometers. You could also just think of it as each line is going up by 200. So that's why my correct answer is going to be 600 kilometers. And keep in mind, you're free to pause, rewind, slow down. You can do all these things. Hold on. All right, so we're looking at number 3. An S wave. An S wave arrives 8 minutes and 10 seconds after a P wave. How far away is the epicenter? All right. So an S wave arrived 8 minutes and 10 seconds after a P wave. How far is the epicenter? So we need to find a way. We need to find a way to where can I find my distance when the P wave has to be 8 minutes and 10 seconds later than an S wave. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scrap paper, all right, and what you guys are doing here, and I'm going to just lead it off where I can still see the dashes. So apologize, hold on. To line up, okay? I'm gonna make 2 points. One at 0 on my scrap paper. So this is 0. I might just label this 0. And then I'm gonna look to see where 8 minutes, 10 seconds would be. And so since this is 20 seconds, 10 seconds is gonna be halfway. And that's gonna be my 8 minute and 10 second mark. All right, I made these 2 marks. Now what you're going to do, I'm gonna zoom this out. The 2 marks that you made, you're gonna line them up. Make sure the bottom is, sorry. You're gonna make sure the bottom is lined up at the P wave line. If you guys are able to see. All right. The bottom is lined up at the P wave line. 8 minutes and 10 seconds is right here. Make sure it's lined up. And I'm gonna go across with the P line. You see here? I'm gonna keep moving up. I'm gonna keep moving up, keep moving up. And my goal is to keep moving until both the P and S lines are touching the 2 marks that I made. And when I look, it looks like they land right around here, 8 minutes and 10 seconds. They look like they land right around here. Let's see. Let me just double check. Can I please get the head? Oh, hold on. I'm recording a video right now. 8 minutes and 10 seconds. And when I do it, it looks to match up somewhere around here. And then when you do that, you just go straight down. All right. So when I've done this and I go straight down, you'll notice it gets to the point right around here. So when I look, I see 6,000, 2, 4, and halfway between 4 and 6. So 6,500. So 6,500 would be your answer. All right, so we're going to look at number 4. If the difference in arrival time between a P wave and an S wave is 2 minutes, 20 seconds, how far away is the epicenter? So once again, they're telling us the difference between the P and the S wave is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That means I have to use the scrap paper method, right? I have to use the scrap paper method. So in this case, the P and S wave are 2 minutes and 20 seconds apart. So therefore, I'm going to use my scrap paper. I'm going to leave a little bit of room just so I can mark my 0 and 2. Make sure your paper is straight. So my 0 mark is here, and 2 minutes, 20 seconds is right here. I'll label this 2:20. All right. Then I'm going to now match, right? You see this bottom line 0 is going to consistently follow with the P line. And I'm going to keep going until these two lines match up with the P and S wave line. Keep your paper straight. And as I'm going, you see it looks to match up somewhere around here. Do we see that? We see how it matches up somewhere around here? Right? It looks to be somewhere around right here. It matches. You see, P line touches here, S wave touch here. So I'm going to go a straight line down to see where this point is. Right here. And when I do that, it looks to be right at the second line past 1. So if each line is going up by 200, this is 1,000, 1,200, 1,400. So my answer is going to be 1,400 kilometers. All right, number 5. A P wave happens at 6:30 and arrives at 6:30, and S waves arrives at 6:39. How far away is the epicenter? So we need to know how far apart are the P and S wave, right? So when I subtract this time from this time, 6:39:30 minus 6:30, what does that end up giving you? It tells me that they're 9 minutes and 30 seconds apart, right? They're 9 minutes and 30 seconds apart from each other. So how does that translate to how far away was the epicenter? Therefore, I'm going to go to right here, same thing I've been doing before. You take a look. 0 is here, put 0 here, and make sure your paper is straight. And I'm looking for 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This is 9 minutes 20. This is 9 minutes and 40. So 9 minutes and 30 would be halfway. And so I'm going to make this mark right here, and I'm going to write 9:30 to let me know 9 minutes and 30 seconds. After I do that, same thing, match up your paper, and we just got to match up, line it up. And we're going to keep lining this up, right? Let me see, we're not using this one now. We're using these 2 points. My baseline is going to be at the P wave. Make sure your paper is straight. And we're going to keep matching them up, line them up, line them up, line them up, line them up. And we're going to keep lining them up right until we get to 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And when I look, you should be getting right here. Right around here, looks like. Yep. And so it looks as though, I just want to double check to make sure it's 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Yep. It looks as though right at almost 8,000, guys. Yeah, like a little bit past right here. See how they both match up? And then I go straight down. And when I go straight down, right, it looks like it touches right at 8,000, a little bit past 8,000. So, therefore, my answer is going to be 8,000 kilometers. Right, number six. Number six says a P wave arrives at 9:04 and 20 seconds, and S wave arrives at 9:07 30 seconds. How far away was the epicenter? So I'm going to subtract these two times. So I'm just going to do it right here. So the later time minus the smaller time. So 9:07 and 30 seconds minus 9:04 and 20 seconds. And I subtract 30 minus 20 is 10, 3. So it looks to be, oh, sorry, 9:47. I realized they're the exact same. Number 6 and 7 is the exact same question. I realized. Okay, that's fine. So 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So now that I know it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds, same thing. I'm going to use my scrap paper method. I'm going to mark 2 points. I'm going to mark 3 minutes. So the 0 minute mark, which is right here, and I'm going to write 0. And 3 minutes and 10 seconds, which would be right here, halfway between the first two lines. I'm just going to put 3:10. All right. Then I'm just going to match it up. I'm going to find where these two match up. And it looks as though they match up right around. Let's see. Yeah, and it looks to be a little past 2. Is it? No, not necessarily. When I put my go here, and I put my line down, and you'll notice is right here, right before 2. So it's between 1,800 to 2,000. All right. So I'm gonna say maybe look a lot 1,900. So it looks as though the answer would be 1,900 kilometers. All right. Now let's look at number 7. So number 7 is the same scenario as number 6, right? So we know that the epicenter was 1,900, right? Number 7 is the same scenario as number 6. And so we found out, actually, yeah, that there were 3 minutes and 10 seconds apart. We remember that? Remember how we found that it was 3 minutes and 10 seconds apart? So what I'm going to do, still, I'm going to go to 3, 0, and 3 minutes. I'm going to follow along till they match. And they seem to match right around here, right? Now what I'm going to do, because number 7's asking just for how long did it take the P wave to arrive at this location. So therefore, the P wave is this line right here. So I'm just going to look to the left. And it looks to be about right here. Do we see that? A little bit under 4. So I would say 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I would say about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Let me actually write it out. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. If your answer is close, plus or minus 200, plus or minus 20 seconds, then that's fine. I'm gonna do one more question just for the sake of time. All right, so we're gonna let's look at number 9. So P wave arrives here. S wave arrives at this time. How long did it take for the S wave to arrive at this location? So what's the time difference between when you do the math? The time difference is 6 minutes and 20 seconds. When you subtract these two times, later time minus smaller time. Then I'm going to use scrap paper. I'm going to get to 6 minutes. So I'm going to put a mark at 0. You could go ahead and see. All right. I'm going to put a mark at 0 to represent 0. And 6 minutes, 20 seconds looks to be about right here. Just going to put 6 dot dot 20. Now I'm going to move it up until my 2 marks that I made touches the 2 lines given. And so when I move up, it looks like they meet right around here, right? And when I take a look and scroll all the way down, right? And you keep going down. Remember, my paper was here. All right. You see, when I scroll all the way down, it looks as though right here. Okay. And so when you notice, remember what the question says. The question only talks about what time does the S wave arrive. So remember this mark right here. We're going to follow it. What time, how long does it take for the S wave to arrive at this location? When I follow this mark, I end up getting it right around here, which is 14 minutes and 20 seconds. So for number 9, 14 minutes and 20 seconds. All right. And all the answers that you get, just keep in mind that it's going to be plus or minus 200 kilometers or plus or minus 20 seconds. All right. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful, blessed day. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Take care.